Fair warning, Mercury is opposite my Neptune, which is a great time to talk about our beach vacation, which is what this video is about. But uh, yeah, I get a little foggy today, so we'll get through this. And Mercury is my chart ruler, so that turns out to be very important. Mercury left its retrograde shadow May 31st. The evening of May 30th, I booked the very last room at our favorite hotel at our favorite beach in Port Aransas, Texas, which is about 6.5 hours from where we live. So it was our sixth wedding anniversary. And with everything that's been going on lately, I insisted on a getaway. I like to tease and say that my mermaid fins are drying out and need that beach water. So we went. We left the morning of the 6th and arrived about 3:30 in the afternoon to our hotel, which will be important here in a moment. I made a quick post about it that day. But I make the charts because when it's the afternoon or evening for the next day. So the charts I show will be for June 7th, um, which was also a big day. This picture here is a piece of wooden pallet that had floated up from the Gulf. Port Aransas sits on the Gulf of Mexico, and just floated into my son and I, and it just happened to be stamped with 320, which is my dad's birthday, and also the degree of my north and south nodes. So it's a number I see a lot of, quite often. My dad has a 29-degree Pisces sun, which is my 29-degree Pisces Atlantis that quincunx my karma. Um, yeah, so very interesting little story for that too. It had 3 crabs floating on it, maybe 4. We're not sure. We kept finding one at a time, but my husband did wind up getting pinched by one trying to play with it. So yeah, fun, fun, fun. So the post that I did was showing the astro.com daily transits that I follow for all of us. Now, I know our charts very thoroughly, learning new placements every day. There are, over 22,500 asteroids. So I know a couple hundred by heart. Anyway, so we put the, I put this in, and here you can see that Mercury was conjunct my Venus, which I have Aransio, the asteroid I use for Port Aransas, conjunct my Venus. Mercury rules short trips, thoughts. The moon was trine my Venus, that's also my Aransio, at 15:24, 3:24 in the afternoon. We got there about 3:30 in the afternoon. Mars was also sextile my ascendant at 3:30 in the afternoon, and that was for the 6th. My husband has his Aransio conjunct is Pluto. He did have a medical issue. I think it was the first time we went down there, and it's a big time of transformation for him. Especially he's a 6th house Mars in Capricorn, hard worker, and to just relax and do nothing, that's something he's had to learn to do. So Mercury was trying to his Pluto and Aransio. He was ready to go 6 o'clock in the morning. uh, so the moon was trine his Pluto and Aransio. Moon sextile Neptune, the beach. Let's see. This is my youngest son's here, and he has Aransio opposite his moon. So Mercury was conjunct his Aransio. And you see Mercury opposite his moon at 4:15. When we got to the hotel and got our things put inside, he wanted to go to the pool immediately, and we weren't into that after the long drive. So, yeah, opposite his moon emotions. He kind of upset with us. The moon was square to his Mercury, thus uh, affecting his moon Aransas and Mercury placements. In the middle of the night, he had a hard time sleeping because we were getting ready to go. So I'll start with our composite chart. This is a multi-composite chart for our youngest son, my husband, and myself. This is a chart of the relationship itself. And as you can see, our ascendant here is in Cancer, which is home, family, intuition, caring, compassion. And ascendant's what you come in to do. So some things I wanted to point out real quick was transit Gianna was at 23 degrees here, opposite Mercury. There's our good old Mercury again at 23 degrees. And that was connecting to our ascendant and descendant. Our last name at 2259 here. We had the moon crossing over that and over our descendant. We have Oceana exactly on our ascendant, had just crossed over at 26 degrees. No, I'm sorry, 25 degrees, 26 minutes, 25 degrees, 35 minutes. Our last name in transit had also crossed over 2646. Our Gianna is 2531. So back to those 23s connecting to the Mercury in transit Gianna. We have our 12th house Venus. We love to go to the beach. That is our thing. Kind of makes the older kids jealous because they didn't get to. But we started years ago going to the beach, and that's what we do. It's what we love to do. Let's see, what else was it? Yeah, so transit Gagnerot here. It's opposite Neptune. And that connects to our ascendant and descendant. Our transit last name, Oceana. Babylon, which rules astrology as well. And, of course, our composite Gianna, opposite our last name, our descendant, all of this. So all of those connections. Now we also have some other connections here to our Mercury in the 8th house, which the 8th house is transformational. It's a house of magic, like finding a piece of wood floating up in the Gulf of Mexico from who knows where with my dad's birthday on it. And I was taking the vacation because I have to get ready to go up there again. And I haven't had a vacation in a while taking care of everybody. So anyway, at Charybdis here, I threw in some new asteroids that have to do with water. Just a handful. There are very, very many more. Charybdis is a celestial sea spirit. And Homer had said she was the cause of the 3 high and low tides of the day. So that connects to our Charybdis, connects to our Chiron in the 9th. Chiron, of course, rules astrology. Chiron is in Pisces. It connects to Dad and our son's grandpa's name. So, that throws the wood in there. So, yes, Mercury, Neptune, ascendant, descendant, Oceana, our last name, Charybdis, our son's nickname here, 26 degrees, Gagnerot, Gianna transit, all of them are connected. So, then we have the 16 degrees, 1516 area. You have my husband's name in our composite chart. Our moon's 1732, our IC 1530, and midheaven. Transit Dad, Grandpa's name 1603, had just crossed over our composite wood. And the sun at 1601 here. That forms an inconjunct, a quincunx to Dad, Grandpa in the wood. And that's the inconjunct, the quincunx is I've seen over and over again as a karmic timing. This here is Centesima. This is our actual room number, and that was room 513. It was at 1717 degrees, so that was trying to our moon, into our IC and MC. Really nice room. We enjoy staying there at that place. Let's see, in the chart, that would be Herschel right here. We've stayed there every time we've gone to Port Aransas. So we'll get to Herschel in a minute. Let's see, any more of the greens? You know me, I'll wind up missing them. So I guess we'll go to Herschel then. So this is our favorite hotel that we always stay at, condominium. It falls in our 8th house. Poseidon, one of the waters. Poseidon is the Greek god of the sea. It's the good side of the Neptunian, Uranian vibes. Psychic sensitivity, psychic vibrations, spiritual influences, the life force, that's all Poseidon. And you can see here conjunct our Herschel and Amphitrite. Amphitrite is connecting to it. And Amphitrite is a nymph water goddess. She has the Pisces and Neptune qualities. She's the wife of the Greek Poseidon, which is the Roman Neptune. That would Salacia. Salacia would be the sea nymph name for Amphitrite. So then our sun's nickname here by transit is 014, which of course will be connecting to our composite Jupiter and Neptune. Charybdis, I've mentioned, the celestial sea spirit at 222 here is sitting on our Aransio. Pramsius, I chose that one because it has a connection to water. It's the god of time, but it has a connection to things floating in the water. So Pramsius is things floating in the water. So sea spirit, Aransio, Pramsius, all connected here. Venus at 121 here in our 1st house, doing something that we love. Costs a lot of money. Opposite Pluto here at 04, and transit Ginkgo had just gone retrograde at the 1st, 2914. That connects all here, opposite our Pluto, our composite Pluto here. So that's the yellow ones. Let's see, Aransio here at 18 degrees in the 12th house sits on Centesima, which is the room number. And it connects to Juno here, Uranus, Nessus. Nessus, I often call him a troublemaker. He does have positive and neutral qualities as well. And one of the neutral qualities is a ferry. You have to take a ferry to get to Port Aransas the way we come in. So I threw him in there for his ferrying. My husband's nickname in our composite chart is conjunct the North Node right here at the 8th house cusp. Mexico by transit was just on our North Node. Now, of course, it's the Gulf of Mexico. And Centesima by transit was conjunct to that as well. Let's see what else. Asteroid Miller and Oceana are very close together in our composite chart and connects to all of that. Transit Nessus opposite that. I have mixed feelings about my dad. We had a rough childhood. He's not the same man, of course. And I've done a lot of trauma healing for that. So, Nessus is also healing karmic patterns and trauma. So let's see what else. Wood here at 1921 and Pramsius 2157 are opposite my husband's name and connecting to Miller in Oceania. Okay, so then we have Mars here at 10 degrees, connecting by trine to Herschel, the name of the property, connecting here to Karma and Saturn in the 8th house, and to our Atlantis, Vertex, and part of Fortune, all sitting here in Sagittarius, which rules the 9th house, spiritual path, and long distance trips. And of course, we're a baseball family, so real sports. Um, and connects here to our Gagnero, which Saturn was connecting to Gagnero, transit Saturn. Okay, the 13's Charclo. I just crossed over our composite Charclo. I don't think there were that many 13's in this one. Karma, our Karma's at 1535 in Sagittarius. Dolphin was another 16 that got missed. Dolphin is Lemurian, but is also, related to dolphins, and we always see dolphins when nobody else does when we're there. So that's always fun. Oh, Chariclo was connecting to our Amphitrite in our chart. Let's see. Then we have our Miller was at 555, which of course is a magical number. Jupiter was at 4 degrees 40 minutes. And then the node's at 3 degrees 14 minutes. Now, Jupiter at 440 and Miller 555 connect to our Uranus in the 5th house. Uranus is the creativity, unexpected things. Fun to see that connected. It also connects, we have Poseidon conjunct our sun in the 8th house. So Poseidon, of course, being the enlightenment and psychic sensitivity. We always have fun things happen. Oh, there's another 757 Ginky sitting in here hiding with Karma and Saturn wrapping around it, connecting to Gagnero, Atlantis, Vertex, Juno. This is our composite Juno. And it's also connecting to our composite Nessus, Saturn. So let's see what else. Very interesting experience. My husband's name at 20, Chiron 19, husband's nickname at 1841, and transit Dolphin at 1837. All these are transit planets. Remember, the planets go this direction, generally, unless they're retrograde. So those were all had crossed over our midheaven and connecting to anything my husband's nickname, our north node, to Miller, Oceania. I never know how to color all of these to break them up. It connects to wood, Pramsius, things floating in the water. Oh, that was another Pramsius was things that are etched in stone. So we have something etched in wood, very close. And all of these are connecting to the Aransio here, Juno here. So yeah. Is there anything else? There's a lot more. There's always a lot more. But that's enough for that one first chart. I did forget to mention that Charclo she's a centaur, but she was a mermaid. So that's why Charclo fit into here. Okay, so this is my natal chart, and you can see all the colors. Yay! As I said, my Aransio sits here near my 12th house Venus, and of course that's opposite my Gianna. Transit Gianna's retrograde. Has retrograded back already. It's now 2147 or something now. and that connects to my Charybdis, which Pramsius had gone over. Pramsius things floating over wood. You see, this is I see my emotional foundation, my inner self, inner emotions, my past, roots, and we have wood and Pramsius are hovering over my IC opposite the midheaven. And let's see, of course, opposite Mexico, the Gulf of Mexico. You see here, my natal Mexico sits near my husband. He's in construction, and he does have a lot of Hispanics also work for him, and I call the town we live in Little Mexico because we have so many taco trucks, like I pointed out in that last video. But it's cool. So where were we going? One weird one I wanted to point out. I was scrolling looking for something, and the scroll stopped on asteroid guest, which I have learned in the past when it does plug it in, because when something catches my attention, do it. And it just happened to be at 7 degrees 7 minutes in my natal chart, which connected to Saturn in Pisces, which was exactly 7 degrees and 7 minutes. So whether it's important or not, I don't know, but these are the kind of things that happen to me. And of course, we were guests at the hotel, and guest is opposite my Jupiter. When I do go see, guest is in Cancer. Usually, when I do travel, it is only to see family. I don't very often get to go on vacation. But Cancer rules the water too. Yay. Excuse me, misspoken. Cancer is ruled by water. Neptune rules the water, so I don't want to confuse anybody. Transit guest here at 1509, which is close to my Uranus and connects to my part of fortune here, and to my destiny, and to my Pramsius, my dad. So yeah, we'll start there. We have the sun on my Pramsius, things floating in the water, etched in stone or wood, crossing over my dad's name, and that's opposite my destiny, which sits on the great attractor. Quincunx to transit dad. Name in Capricorn rules the father, 8th house. That's magical and soul contracts, past life contracts. You see here I have transit Mexico and Centesima, the room number. Or actually at my Icarus, things happening all in the right order as nature intended. Transit Nessus is square to my own natal Nessus. That I've been doing a lot of deep work on that. Let's see. Sun. My Uranus, my Gagnero, all of those connect. And if we want to throw in the 14s, you have Ginky here, guest opposite Ginky. So, okay, next we'll go to the ascendant descendant. This is Herschel, the property address of the condo that we stay at, 1055 connects here. And to Serendip, I have Serendip right here at 10 degrees something. And karma was square to my ascendant and descendant. And then quincunx my Mars, which rules my sun, Mercury, all of this, Chiron woundings, Eris, discord for positive change. So then we have, let's go some greens. I said Mercury was on my Aransio. We already did those. But it connects. Here we have Atlantis and Juno were conjunct. And those are sextile positively to my Charybdis and to the wood and Pramsius that were hugging my IC. And course, quincunx to Gianna by transit and natal. So my son's nickname's opposite my karma by transit there. And Amphitrite had just crossed over my Atlantis. I forget what midpoint that is. I've been a midpoint there. My dolphin connects to my Saturn. It is opposite my Oceania. Poseidon at 29 degrees will be connecting to my Atlantis by semisextile and to my karma in trine. Let's see. Oh, and then of course square to Miller and Mars, and also sextile to Wood. So we have transit Charybdis and gone opposite Wood, still well within 2 degrees. Okay, and Pluto and Ginky, 0 and 29. My husband's nickname here, 9th house, that's spiritual path. Okay, so then we have Dolphin, my husband's nickname, Chiron and husband are all 18 to 20 degrees here. That would connect to my midheaven and to my IC, the Wood, and all of that as well. To Juno in Atlantis, to Uranus, the unexpected things. Now Uranus is also square to my midheaven and my IC. Squares are another, like the quincunx that I see. This seems like karmic timing. You know, I'm going to forget all kind of things here. Oceania and our last name here connect to our last name here. To my natal chart. Now our last name sits on the galactic center, and my Pluto sits on the supergalactic center, conjunct to it. Those are black holes that stream information in. The great attractor also that we can connect to. So my sevens, I have a 7-degree sun. Of course, my Vesta is 843 or 7 or something. Connecting to Poseidon here. Miller was just crossing over, still getting to it. Jupiter was on my anti-vertex, which would be opposite my vertex, Destiny's gateway. Jupiter being spiritual connection, protection, ruler of the 9th house, and Sagittarius. So Destiny, North Node. And there, of course, my nodes are 320. As you can see here, Neptune is square to our last name right now, Neptune being the beach, and the connection to the subconscious and otherworldly. Herschel sits in my 12th house at 1241 here, 12th house ruling the beaches, the water, the subconscious. This isn't the first very interesting thing that's happened there. And next to my Eris, almost exactly. Like I said, it's not the first time something strange has happened there. Into my Chiron, into my Mercury. And of course, it connects to my moon. So, I'm sure I forgot something. I'm definitely feeling this Mercury opposite Neptune. Gagnero here is connecting to our last name by transit. Destiny, trying our last name. Chariclo connecting to my Mercury, Chiron, Eris. Oceana and our last name connecting to our last name in my natal chart. So yeah, lots of connections all the way around. Very magical time. This is my son and I's progressed composite chart. Um, since he was with me out in the water when he's the one that actually noticed the piece of wood floating up. You can see that Saturn and Karma were hugging our last name in the 8th house. It's that magic house in Pisces. And Charclo was on our descendant, opposite our ascendant. Mars in the 12th house on our Saturn. That's your life lessons and father figures, grandfathers, and Herschel had crossed over Genki. You know, I made the reservation probably when Herschel was on Genki. Amphitrite was conjunct Miller, 4 degrees from Herschel. Again, I never know when to stop the coloring. Herschel was connects to our Mexico, and Miller to our Charclo here in our composite chart. Let's see, regroup. Okay, so we have Miller at 555, our midheaven 624, Jupiter at 440. So Jupiter would connect to Mexico, Gulf of Mexico, where we were at. The nodes to Charclo. So glad I colored this to help me out. I don't see the colors really well, so our last name and Oceana were on our progressed composite centesima, the room number, 12th house. At the beach, Pramsius was on our south node by progressed composite. Of course, that's opposite our north node. That's the path of destiny. Our progressed composite Sun and Poseidon are conjunct, with chaos right nearby. Uranus had crossed over that. Connects to our progressed Amphitrite. Aransio, I crossed over my son's nickname in the 12th house. And all of those connect to wood by transit here. And Pramsius in the 1st house. Opposite transit Mexico and centesima. We know that. Connects to our Neptune at 1722 and our Pluto 1825, which is right opposite our composite chaos. When I find my heart rocks and all the different things, pennies, and I point them out to him or I tell him the clock time, he likes to roll his eyes at me. It's funny. But he points things out to me all the time, too. You see our nest is traveling through our 8th house Pisces here. A lot of Pisces-related things going on in our life. So, let's see. Aransio here, our composite Aransio connects to Jupiter in the north node and to Herschel. Oh, Pramsius and south node connect to our Dolphin in the 8th house also. Let's see, Dad and Grandpa. Connecting to our chaos. Of course, to the transit sun here. Dad and Grandpa connect to our Oceana and to our Pluto here. Dad and Grandpa are opposite the composite sun's nickname that has Aransas on it. And was conjunct our Neptune. Okay, I'm fading out here. Something about talking for over 30 minutes. move on to the next one. And as I say that, then I see something else. So transit Poseidon at 2927 was on our progressed composite wood and Jupiter here. 7th house, committed relationships, and connects to our son's nickname here and to my husband's name, which sits next to our Mars. Connects to transit chaos. I hadn't put that in any of the other ones, sitting here at 016. So chaos is that cosmic creativity, connecting to Jupiter and connecting to Gianna, which Pluto and Ginky are sitting here at the Gianna. Okay. Our vertex here in the 5th house, Sagittarius, connects to our Chiron in the 8th. Transit our last name in Oceania, we're connecting to our vertex by conjuncts. Vertex being Destiny's gateway. Yeah, Oceania. Okay. Real quick, my son's natal chart, we have Wood and Pramsius are hugging his ascendant. Things floating in the water, etched in stone. Opposite his descendant. Obvious. Square to Uranus. You might notice his ascendant and descendant are my NCIC axis. So here Nessus has crossed over that. And Nessus, his natal Nessus, is square to his moon, which Gianna was sitting on, and opposite Mercury on his Aransas. Wood here, that's his natal wood, sits near his Jupiter, 9th house, spiritual path. Boys learned how to chop wood at Grandpa's too. Sextile to transit Juno. So there's some connections there. Here his Neptune's in the 7th house, Pisces. Poseidon conjunct it, and we'll throw in Dolphin. Also connects to my husband's nickname here in his 6th house. And transit Pluto and Ginky here. Then we have Amphitrite, Uranus, and Gagnero for him are all in his 8th house, Pisces. And Amphitrite had crossed over his natal Amphitrite and was conjunct his Uranus. The North Node is about to cross his Ginky and his Sun, but they all connect here to all of these and to my husband's nickname. Now we have Oceania. Amphitrite was opposite his Oceania, almost exact. And all of these connect to his nickname here, 11th house Cancer. Charybdis was on it. And then, of course, transit Venus was opposite all of these and connecting sextile to Oceania. His vertex at 041, Destiny's gateway, connecting to Pluto, connects to his Neptune in the 7th. Okay, so let's see what else. Find some interesting things. My husband's name, Chiron, nickname, and Dolphin all sit at, by transit here, we're at his Jupiter. Transit Herschel, the name of the property, was on our last name, almost exact. And of course, connecting to transit Mars and to his Poseidon. He has natal Mexico conjunct Pluto, that, transformative. Connects to his Chiron in the 7th, and to his Pramsius in the 12th, and Taroclo in the 4th. Okay. So the husband, we'll go back to those. That was on his Jupiter, connecting to transit Aransio, transit Wood, Pramsius, Nessus. Yeah, he doesn't have too many, just his Jupiter. Or in that color. So I wasn't really going anywhere with that, was I? Okay, so the 23s, we've already done Aransio. The 13s, 14s, and 15s. My husband's name sits in his 12th house. Of course, that rules the water, and it's a karmic house. And that connects to his Gianna, Mercury, and Mars, all sit here on the 9th house cusp, spiritual path. They're all at 13 degrees. They are opposite his Saturn, his life lessons, his father figures in Libra, relationships, balance. And opposite is Centrosema, which is the hotel room. They connect to his Juno and to his Miller. Okay. Anything else really neat? His nodes are connected to his 8th house karma that also sits conjunct his Venus in Pisces. Neptune has crossed over his karma, and we'll make it to his 8th house Venus soon. His grandpa sits here at 27 degrees, close to his sun. That's his natal grandpa. And of course, Neptune was connecting semi-sextile to his natal grandpa, and transit Oceana and our last name were connecting, as well as Gagnero, the moon. Ginky and all of these were all connecting to his grandpa. So last one I'll do is my solar return. Just the solar return kind of times it out for when it's going to happen. You have all these natal things hidden in your chart, but when they unfold, it has more to do with the progress and the solar return. So what we have here, I have Neptune on my dolphin. You see my solar return, Neptune and Herschel, the name of the property, are conjunct exactly in the 6th house, another karmic house. In Pisces, Pisces rules the beach and the subconscious. And my Amphitrite is conjunct Saturn here, not as exact as Herschel and Neptune, but Herschel and Neptune are sextile to my moon. You see, I have this 4 degrees on all my axes here. That's a pretty big deal. Connecting to my nodes, north node, south node here. And of course, Jupiter was at 4 degrees, 40 minutes. It just crossed over my north node in the 8th. And Miller had just crossed over it. North node going this way. Break time. So Miller at 5:55 by transit would connect to my solar return wood here. We have Oceana. My solar return Oceana is conjunct my Mars last name right here near my midheaven. Charybdis was actually on my solar return Oceana. And my solar return Charybdis connects to my Miller and Sun that are conjunct in the 7th, which connects to Mexico 648 here and Dad, Grandpa 821 here. All the solar returns. So those would connect to the Karma at 933 and Saturn 707 here. My vertex, Destiny's Gateway, 1st house of self, 7th house relationships, connects to Genki here. Aransio 1820 also connects to Destiny's Gateway. And Dolphin, my husband's nickname, Chiron, and my husband are all, my vertex is conjunct my Mercury in the 7th. And they're all conjunct Jupiter, which connects to the Aransio, which connects to the wood, the Pramsius. Dad and Grandpa are sitting right here on Genki. Centesima in Mexico crossed over my Karma. Centesima was conjunct my Poseidon. Okay, let's see. There's a lot more you can look around and see, matching them all up, but it's just always fascinating for me to see all the different things and how they come out. Now you can compare my solar return to my natal chart, and you'll see even more, but I like to put them here individually like they are. So that kind of gives an idea, and then learn some new water asteroids and other asteroids. And thanks for watching.